Greetings, students. Today we're going to learn about classroom recitation. So, what is classroom recitation? Classroom recitation is a structured academic interaction where students verbally respond to prompts or questions posed by the teacher. It is typically spontaneous, requires active listening, and involves clear articulation of ideas. This method showcases a student's grasp of the topic in real time. It also helps in assessing both comprehension and verbal communication skills. Let's learn about its role in active learning and student engagement. Recitation promotes active learning by requiring students to think critically and express themselves clearly during class. It fosters deeper engagement, as students are not just passive listeners but active participants. The process strengthens retention and encourages accountability. It also creates a dynamic learning environment that stimulates curiosity and collaboration. Now, what is classroom recitation performance? Classroom recitation performance is often measured by how clearly and confidently a student speaks, how frequently they contribute, and the depth of their insights. Successful performance includes logical reasoning, original thought, and responsiveness to follow-up questions. These elements reflect both knowledge and communication skills. A balanced mix of quantity and quality is essential for strong performance. Let's go to the differences between high and low performers. High performers tend to speak more frequently, present well-structured answers, and demonstrate critical thinking. They usually appear confident and are comfortable taking intellectual risks. In contrast, low performers may struggle with clarity, show hesitation, and offer surface-level responses. These differences are often linked to psychological, social, and academic factors. So, what are the benefits of effective recitation? Effective recitation enhances learning by reinforcing concepts through verbal articulation and analysis. It supports knowledge retention as students explain what they've learned in their own words. This active recall process strengthens memory and understanding. It also cultivates critical thinking through question-driven reflection and dialogue. Moreover, recitation helps students build essential soft skills, including public speaking, listening, and persuasive communication. Regular verbal participation fosters confidence and adaptability in social settings. It also encourages respectful dialogue and collaboration. Over time, these experiences prepare students for real-world interactions and teamwork. Let's now talk about how psychosocial factors affect classroom recitation performance. First, the link between confidence and participation. They say that students with high self-efficacy believe in their ability to succeed, making them more likely to engage in classroom recitation. Confidence reduces anxiety and increases willingness to speak, even on complex topics. These students tend to take initiative and contribute more meaningfully. Their self-belief fuels consistent academic effort. How do preparation and past experiences influence self-belief? Thorough preparation and previous success in recitation significantly strengthen a student's self-efficacy. Positive experiences reinforce the idea that their contributions are valuable and effective. In contrast, repeated failures and negative feedback can diminish confidence. Therefore, building a cycle of preparation and success is key to sustaining high participation. Second, how fear of judgment affects participation. Many students hesitate to speak up in class due to fear of negative evaluation by their peers. This fear can be especially strong in classrooms with a competitive or critical atmosphere. As a result, even well-prepared students may choose silence over perceived risk. This inhibits both learning and confidence building. Now, there's a thing called positive and negative peer influence. Peer influence can either encourage or discourage recitation. Positive peer dynamics, such as supportive classmates and inclusive discussions, promote participation, while negative peer pressure, on the other hand, leads to anxiety and silence. The overall classroom culture significantly impacts how students respond to peer expectations. Third, the Pygmalion effect. The Pygmalion effect suggests that students perform in ways that align with their teachers' expectations. When teachers believe in a student's potential, they often provide more support and opportunities, which enhances performance. Conversely, low expectations can limit a student's engagement and achievement. Teacher attitudes subtly but powerfully influence students' behavior. Let's move on to the role of feedback and classroom climate. Constructive feedback and a positive classroom environment are vital in boosting recitation performance. When students receive timely, respectful, and actionable feedback, they are more motivated to participate. A welcoming climate where mistakes are seen as learning opportunities helps students overcome fear. This environment empowers students to take academic risks. How do we improve classroom recitation performance? Let's first talk about strengthening self-efficacy, particularly confidence-building exercises. Activities like speech rehearsal, timed response drills, and progressively challenging questions can boost student confidence. These allow learners to experience success in manageable steps. Positive reinforcement at each stage reinforces self-belief. This structured growth enhances performance in actual recitations. There are metacognitive strategies for better preparation and performance. Teaching students to plan, monitor, and reflect on their learning improves both preparation and performance. Tools like self-questioning, outlining, and peer feedback foster awareness of one's strengths and weaknesses. These metacognitive strategies not only improve confidence but also deepen understanding. Students become more strategic and self-directed in recitation tasks. What are some smart recitation tips for students? First, ask yourself questions before class. Before class, review your notes and ask, "What do I understand well?" and "What confuses me?" This prepares your mind to participate actively and helps you anticipate possible questions from your teacher. Second, create a quick outline of key ideas. Spend a few minutes writing down a short outline of the lesson's main points. This helps you organize your thoughts and answer more clearly during recitation. Third, practice out loud, even when alone. Try explaining a concept aloud to yourself, like you're teaching someone else. This technique strengthens both your understanding and your speaking skills. Fourth, accept and use peer feedback. After a recitation or group discussion, ask a classmate for one thing you did well and one thing you can improve. Honest feedback helps you grow without judgment. Lastly, reflect after every recitation. After class, take 1 minute to jot down, "What did I say today?" What could I have said better? This simple habit sharpens self-awareness and builds confidence over time. Let's move on to addressing peer pressure, specifically creating supportive peer environments. To combat peer pressure, schools and teachers should promote collaboration over competition. Group-based discussions, peer mentoring, and class norms that value every voice can reduce fear of judgment. Encouraging empathy and respect among students create a psychologically safe space. This helps reluctant students become more willing to speak. Techniques to reduce fear of judgment. Using group practice sessions allows students to rehearse responses in a low-pressure setting. Establishing classroom norms that prioritize encouragement and respectful listening also eases anxiety. Role-playing and anonymous response tools can gradually acclimate students to public speaking. These techniques build confidence and reduce fear over time. What are some helpful tips to overcome fear of reciting in class? First, join or start a small practice group. Practicing answers with 2 to 3 classmates help you get used to speaking without the pressure of the whole class watching. It's a safe space to try, stumble, and improve. Second, help set a respect-first class culture. Encourage your class to agree on simple norms like no laughing at mistakes and cheer for brave attempts. Feeling respected makes it easier to speak without fear. Third, try role-playing to loosen up. Acting out roles like a teacher, a journalist, or even a fictional character can make speaking less personal and more playful, perfect for easing into recitation. Fourth, use anonymous participation tools. If you're nervous, use tools like written response cards, online polls, or apps where you can share your thoughts without being seen. It's a great starting point. Lastly, treat every attempt like progress. Whether you whisper an answer, say one word, or speak in front of the whole class, every step counts. Fear fades with practice, not perfection. Now, let's move on to leveraging teacher expectations. How can teachers foster inclusive participation? Teachers can ensure all voices are heard by creating systems that distribute opportunities fairly. This includes rotating speakers, inviting quieter students to contribute, and reinforcing positive behavior. Inclusive practices make students feel valued and seen. Over time, this boosts class morale and participation. There are strategies like equitable cold calling and growth-focused feedback. Equitable cold calling ensures students are randomly selected to participate, reducing bias and favoritism. Coupled with growth-focused feedback, this method helps students see mistakes as part of learning. When applied with care, it normalizes participation and encourages improvement. These strategies build resilience and academic courage. Here are some tips for students embracing cold calling and growth-focused feedback. First, see cold calling as an opportunity, not a task. Cold calling isn't about putting you on the spot. It's a way to give everyone an equal chance to participate. View it as an opportunity to share your thoughts, not a test to pass. Second, prepare by anticipating questions. Before class, Think about key topics and questions your teacher might ask. This way, you're ready to contribute when called upon and feel less anxious. Third, focus on growth, not perfection. Remember, feedback after cold calling is meant to help you improve, not to critique you harshly. If you make a mistake, treat it as a learning moment, not a failure. Fourth, normalize participation for everyone. Participation isn't about being right every time. It's about showing up and sharing your ideas. When everyone is equally involved, it feels less intimidating to speak up. And last but not the least, celebrate progress over perfection. Each time you're called on and contribute, even if it's a small answer, give yourself credit. Each experience builds resilience and academic courage. That's all for today. I hope that the tips I mentioned here helps you become better at classroom recitation. Thank you for watching.